Hey, what's going on, everybody? I had a chance to watch Jalil Bethea in a game right behind me, Archbishop Wood High School here in Pennsylvania. 96-69 win. Jalil had him with 21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, also had a huge block, big time performance, a big win over Archbishop Carroll, and also had a chance to watch Jalil practice yesterday. So I've got a lot of thoughts seeing him in person, and it was definitely great. Overall, good trip, getting to know him a little bit, talk to him, had a sit down interview that I'll be posting on the channel. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because you don't want to miss that, hear what he has to say. Also, we talked after the game today, and one of the things he said about the game, I'll get into my thoughts overall in his game, on his performance, how he looked in practice and things, but just today he said, they felt like they really wanted to get after it in the second half because the other team was talking a little bit, and I could see it too from being there at the game. But I want to note that Jalil's not going to back down from them, anybody really. He definitely will go at people, and that's one of the things, just seeing him in person, kind of a scene of his intensity, his competitive nature on both ends of the floor. That's one of the things that really stood out to me in these 2 days. That's something that you can't always see when you watch on film, but again, just being around him a little bit and watching him, that's really what stood out to me, just his overall makeup, his personality on the court. He's definitely an expressive player. I like it. He's definitely fun to watch, not just offensively, because offensively you can see it. He's a knockdown three-point shooter. He can go to his left and knock down a three, or go to his right. He can kind of pull from anywhere. He will shoot long-range three-pointers, as I saw in the game today. But also another, I think, a strength to his game is he's going to go to the basket at times too. He'll put the ball on the floor, go all the way to the basket. He's also a guy that wants to dunk on people. So again, that aggressive nature, that competitive nature definitely shows on the offensive end of the court. And then defensively, like I said, he had a huge block today at the rim. He's going to challenge shots, the 10 rebounds. He's going to get after it on the defensive side of the ball. And when I talked to Jim Larinaga, after I told him I was going to come see Jalil play, and wanted to get Coach's thoughts on Jalil as a player, and that was one of the things he said. He said defensively, he feels like, he says this about all freshmen. Defensively, you got to be, there's a lot of adjustment when you get to the college game. And he said he definitely tries and puts effort into being a good team defender, a good individual defender. So he feels like he's going to have a good start coming into UM. And I saw that today. There wasn't anything over the 2 days. There wasn't anything that made me think that he couldn't defend at the next level. And I think that's going to be big for him because, again, there's so many things he does well offensively. But again, I think defensively, whether it's steals as well, he's a guy that's going to get after it. And there's a couple other things that stood out to me these couple of days being around him, talking to other coaches, not just Coach Moscow, and shout out to him for allowing me to have this kind of access, which was great because I want to definitely show you guys as much as possible. I'll have highlights from practice and highlights from the game on the channel, so you'll get to see what it looks like when he practices and in a game. Again, it's just really impressive. But not just what Coach Moscow had to say, but I was speaking to other coaches on other teams, and some of them don't even face Jalil, just to get their thoughts on him, and there's a couple things that stood out, and one was they really feel like he's a gym rat, and I saw that firsthand. After practice yesterday, it was about a couple hour practice, it seemed like he stayed after practice. He was the last one out of the gym, playing one-on-one with an assistant coach, and he won that. It was just a competitive battle. Again, gym rat, competitive. I saw it firsthand, and it was good. He definitely loves the game, and talking to him and watching him play, you definitely can see that. And then the other thing that other coaches have said, and I was able to ask Jalil about this, is just his trajectory as a player. And I think even from watching him in EYBL over the summer and to where he's at now, I think he's a better player than he was over the summer. I think he has continued to improve, and that's what other coaches, other people have said about him. This is a guy that coming into today, 150 points away from being the school's all-time leading scorer, which is really impressive because he didn't play varsity as a freshman. And typically you do not see that kind of rise from a guy to go to top 10 in the country as a senior to not playing varsity as a freshman. So, and I think this work ethic, just really staying with it, continuing to add pieces to his game offensively, while also paying attention to doing things on the defensive end as well. And one of the things to keep in mind with basketball players in particular, more so than football, without question, basketball players have a lot of attention. High-ranked guys have a lot of attention on them because they're not that far away, theoretically, to being NBA draft prospects. And guy like Jalil has a lot of attention. A lot of people are watching his every move, and he feels like when I ask him about that kind of attention and the expectations he will have on him at Miami, you feel like he's just kind of taking it in stride. And I think part of it has to do with his journey as a player. As I mentioned, not well known as a freshman to where he's at now. And I think that's certainly going to be something to watch for moving forward, how he handles it. But really, when you have that much talent and skills and a guy that works hard and is going to pay attention to getting better, I think that's what really helps you moving forward as you continue to make the next step in your career. Another thing I want to point out too, Archbishop Carroll, who, Jalil played today, that's where DJ Irving went to high school. And I just want to make sure everyone knows this is clear, because no matter where I went, in the basketball circles in Philadelphia over these 3 days, everybody had a lot of respect for Coach Irving. And I think that bodes well for, again, Miami has recruited well in this area in the past, but it just seems like it's just going to continue. And I had one head coach at the high school level feels like, as an assistant coach with DJ, he feels like he's on a journey to be eventually a head coach at the college level. So it just shows you just the respect that they have for him in this area. And also with Jalil, there's young guys coming up in this area that are looking at Jalil, and for him to go to Miami, just like with Wood going to Miami, it only helps, this pipeline that we are seeing with Philadelphia basketball players going to Miami and having success, Lonnie Walker in this area, Eastern Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of guys that have had success. Jaquan Newton, certainly he was one of those standouts in Philadelphia coming up in high school. So it's been quite a few years, and Isaiah Wong from the area as well. So a lot of successful people have come, and I think it's going to continue. Again, Coach Irving has his foot on the ground definitely here. He knows what's going on locally in terms of the guys coming up. Had a chance to see some of the young ones, so definitely stay tuned to the website and the channel, as I'll post some stuff on them as well. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for me here. I've got a plane to catch. I have a flight in a few hours, so I definitely got to get to the airport. And then I'm looking forward to putting out a lot of content, for you guys. I think you guys will be excited to see it. Some stuff that I've talked about here on this video, but also there's some other things that I'm working on that I've got to piece together. It's going to take some time. Okay, so that's going to wrap everything up for me. My battery just died, so I've got to get to the airport now to catch a flight. But also, just want to let you know, I've got a lot of content to work on when I get back to Miami. So stay tuned to the channel, but also the website. There's some projects that I was working on that I haven't talked about because I've got to piece it together still. So just definitely stay locked in, and we'll see how the Miami Hurricanes do on the floor the rest of the season, as they definitely want to get back to out of this losing streak, this skid that they're on. But definitely I want to thank everybody for their support. I'm glad to be up here, and again, thank everybody here in Philadelphia, all the people that I spoke with that helped me with these videos and the content. So I got to get going, but thanks and take care.